Welcome back, everyone. As the commercial for Carl's Jr. fades, we refocus on the scene, and it pulls back, and now it's over Mike's shoulder facing into this warehouse. That warehouse, for the most part, is empty. There's like a table, a few chairs over to the one side. Shin Lem is standing there, and the two bodyguards are off to the side. He smiles as he kind of sees what's going on in his alley. He tips his cap, and Mike, you see a blink as he rushes towards you with great speed that you once had. He is looking to slam you to the ground. What would you like to do?
Well, luckily, he is not slamming me to the ground, per se. As there is multiple of me now. As I sidestep his rush at me, he hits me, and I attack the first guy and move to the second guy, and then move to the, what was it, 3 others? No, just 2 others.
So he's moving fast, faster than you ever did. I'm going to say let's start with you splitting yourself to see if you're going to get out of the way of his actual blow, and then we'll go down the list of...
He's not expecting me to no longer be the real me.
No. He's not.
All it takes is a step.
True. And he'll be there in a moment. So, I'm going to say that this is going to be what? This is a couple things, I think. The question is, yeah, I'm gonna have you face danger first. The reason being, he's moving so fast that even a single step might be too long of time. So let's have you face danger first. The danger would be you taking that first step, and then we can have you create your clones for him to run into. It's basically, are you going to be able to move faster than he is?
Oh yeah, because bullet time, astral physical, and I know kung fu. As I'm sidestepping him, I know that he's gonna get to me too fast. But the whole, not that I know kung fu, but the army of clones.
Yeah, like you're morphing out of one body into a second. Like
exactly.
That's kind of how I'm seeing it, is you elongate a bit. So it's a matter of if you're getting your actual self out of your clone fast enough before he slams into it.
How I'm kind of setting up is, I've already got my hand up over my head. So that's just going to be coming down onto his shoulder as he's like coming straight into my chest.
Okay.
And then that's when the split from the other stuff happens.
Okay. Let's go ahead and face danger and see how this all pans out for you. Okay. So you begin to move out of the way, and the amount of speed, he doesn't quite get you. In fact, he kind of knocks you out of your current form, running full speed into your other clone. You still take, I will say, a status 1 of just knocked, like bruised, as his force hits you so fast, like it speeds you out of your other clone. This other clone,
that works,
within a moment goes and slams hard into the brick wall. Calvin, there's a brush of wind behind you which catches your attention. As you're turning to see what it is, you hear a slam up against your other wall, having to kind of look back to the left, and there's Mike knocked out, blood coming from his head, being held by Shin Lem up against the wall.
Oh, shit. I get to react then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
you like feel this brush of wind and you look to see what it is, but by the time you look one way, you hear the sound of Shin Lem and Mike's slamming into the other wall, and you see Mike. He appears to be dazed, confused, knocked out, and bleeding.
Okay, well, there's little I can do to keep up with that sort of speed. I'm not a physical person, but I don't need to be. I'm going to take the sharp end of my cane, where the skull's teeth are, and I'm going to cut the palm of my hand, and call upon the lowest spirits to attempt to bind and slow down Shin Lem from moving so quickly.
Okay. So I would say you're trying to change the game. So I will let you know he does have a positive status for him that is going to affect your roll.
Okay.
He has a spectrum of catch 5, which is a status for how fast he's moving. So you can go ahead and add your power tags, but then subtract 5 from what that is, as he is moving very fast.
Yet. Okay. Well, I'm going to do Tricks of the Mind, Lower Spirit, and say Control the Dice. No, not Tricks of the Mind. Sorry, Misfortune. As I call forth for the lowest spirits to try and slow them at least a little bit. And then you said a -5.
Slow down. This is a school zone. There are kids here.
Oh, it's freaking out. 1 second.
A -5. Jesus.
And actually, I would say instead of changing the game, this is more of a go toe to toe. Yeah, because you're trying to use your abilities to kind of stop and hinder his.
One cookie.
Okay. Go toe to toe at a -2 in total. Hey,
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Dang.
So on a 7 to 9, you get to choose one. So you can manage to slow him down for a moment.
Now, we've never actually had.
And negative power before, yes. So
Yeah. So
it is.
How does that?
It is possible for power to be negative. It means that basically your power is brief, like you're not getting the full effect of it. So you can't actually affect someone with a negative status. So for this one, because you're not actually getting more than a stop, brief, momentary kind of slowdown, he's not going to have an ongoing effect after this. So you'll still have a moment to act. But what we could do, let's see, let's go to the book real quick so I can read it out specifically, because I'm getting some confused looks, which is completely fine. Power tags.
I wish I knew what those looks were.
I know.
Don't worry.
fix your computer.
It's just Google. It works everywhere else. I wish I could fix Google, but then I'm not rich.
It's not Google, because we're using Chrome and it's working fine.
Firefox is working fine except for the cameras.
Oh yeah, it's not working fine because you're not seeing the cameras.
You want me to just open a second account? Is that what you want? I can just do that. Just so I can stare at your face.
You don't really.
Well,
No.
his fade in and out from his ceiling fan is quite worth it.
That's right.
So it says when we're trying to determine power, we start by counting our power tags. We then subtract any weakness tags we have, and then subtract any other factors like additional statuses, story tags, anything like that. It does say your power can be reduced below 0 to a negative number. When this happens, the effect is not applied. If the move states you take a minimum of 1 power, like Change the Game, and I think one other has a minimum on it, you would still take that power even if receiving a negative. But again, it just means that your abilities are momentary or fleeting, or whatever you're going up against just has so much higher ability or power that is kind of a hint that maybe that is not the way to control the situation. So you get I would think of this as like, you know, when you see any superhero going up against a villain for the first time, trying to study what is their weakness. So this is a clue into what their weakness probably isn't.
Mhm.
Nope.
Okay.
Worked better than I thought. Now I can see cameras and have everything.
So as you call on the spirits, you start to see like hands, dark kind of gray, misty hands reach up, and one is able to kind of grab his ankle, which stops him for a moment. Timothy, the big guy's like starting to cough a little bit, but he goes to like starts trying to elbow you off the side of him, trying to like back up against the wall to get you off.
I'm gonna ride this Bronc.
See.
So you're just trying to hold on a little bit longer.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna do that.
So I'm gonna say this is a go toe to toe, but his daze status is gonna be a positive for you. So along with whatever power tags you want, go ahead and add that +2 to it as well.
Okay, the only status I can think of to add to this particular role is my gentleman's club. The reason why we're adding the gentleman's club is because of the reason I am a member of this gentleman's club. Because it's a gentleman's club for veterans of the war that nobody remembers.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. I might have something for this. I do have my expert advice.
You do?
improvement.
If you want to use it, you can. I would say you guys have been on enough things. You probably have shown them a thing or two.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Go ahead and read out what your expert advice is for the table.
All right. It says, I have to click it and scroll it. It says, once per scene, you can let another player use a power tag from this theme, provided that tag describes a skill that you can reasonably teach them, or could have taught them in advance. You do not need to make the change the game move to do so.
Do you feel like there's any weakness moves that apply here? Or weakness tags?
For me?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, yeah. I'm kind of I'm soft-hearted, so I'm really just while I'm trying to hold on, I'm not really trying to hurt him so much as just make him pass out.
All right. Sounds good. Go ahead and roll go toe to toe as you try to finish knocking him out, and he tries to get you off of him.
So you wanted me to mark my soft-hearted, yes?
Yep. Go ahead and mark
Okay.
that. And then take the attention for it.
Okay. That puts me at a 2. Positive 2.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Mhm.
You have
Well,
two
if
power
you're-
tags, and then
Well, if you're giving me a thing, right?
yeah, I'm giving you a +1. So, okay, I was just making sure that you took that into the. I was just trying to.
No, I haven't actually taken that into account. So-
Yeah, it's added as another power tag, so
Okay. So I will.
I can only do it once per session, but it's added as another power tag for whoever I let use.
There. Okay, so now it's a 3. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. And which one was this?
This is going to be go toe to toe.
Going toe to toe. Boy, I don't do this very often.
Oh
No,
god.
no problem. You definitely do. So you choose 2 of those.
The sounds from. Can I mute the sounds on this?
I am going to. I managed to achieve my goal, and I get them good.
Okay. So as he's going down, he kind of buckles to a knee and goes for one last elbow to the gut. So I'm going to have you face danger to see if you can avoid this last. We'll say this is again, he's big and strong, so tier 2, like bump to the gut.
Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, my the power tag that Spoon just gave me is gone.
Correct. Yeah.
How do I reset those to 0?
It should just
Up
say
in the-
reset at the top.
Yeah.
And it'll reset all
Yeah.
the check marks.
I hit that. Okay, and then my cloth is also done, right?
Yeah.
Right. Not yet. This is you avoiding his last blow, and then you'll be basically standing and can decide what you want to do with your cloth.
Okay. Just gonna call this knockout cloth.
There, now you guys can actually move yourselves around. Sorry about that. Nobody told me you couldn't move it.
No worries.
I haven't tried to move it. I've been in a shed this whole time.
And this is gonna be face danger.
Yeah, that's correct. You're trying to avoid the last hit, tier 2.
I was needing duplicated. I couldn't duplicate myself.
Okay, so that's Gentleman's Club and
Well, this would be what tags you're using to avoid his last blow to your gut. So you're getting him down, like he is going to be knocked out, but he has one more shot at you. So using Gentleman's Club and then whatever else you're going to use to avoid the hit.
That's it.
He has nothing. I should have saved them.
I have nothing.
Okay.
That's it. So face danger?
Correct.
Ugh, the double sounds. Okay, I can't do that.
Okay, so he gets you once, but as it goes back, it just barely kind of grazes you in the side. So you just take a tier 1, bump. It's not that bad. He falls and he kind of just lets out a long exhale and just lays still on the ground. William, in the tool shed, you hear like a struggle go around, and you hear the door open behind you, and then you turn around. You see the shorter thug kind of looking at you, and then hear something go on. Immediately, like, you see panic in his eyes, and he begins to move that way. You have a moment to act before he does. What do you want to do?
Now, I came in here for a sledgehammer. Do I find one?
Let's change the game and find out. What tools? I guess for this one it's kind of hard. You might just be a straight roll, because unless you have a way of like just knowing there's gonna be a sledgehammer and.
Doubted. So it's just a straight change the game.
I think it is, to see if you can find one. Okay. So yeah, you can still take a story tag of sledgehammer. You get a minimum of 1, so 1's used, create that story tag. So yeah, as he kind of his attention goes back towards a corner, you see over towards the alley, you see kind of off in the corner there's a variety of tools and a few chains kind of hanging down, but yeah, you definitely see a dark sledgehammer up against the corner. There's a bit of cobwebs and stuff on it. You reach down, you pick it up, you feel that weight.
Yep. And since Calvin's like making punching motions as I came in here, I'm just gonna hit the guy with the sledgehammer.
Okay, yeah, I think
side.
For the moment he's not looking at you, so this is gonna be a hit with all you've got. Definitely use that story tag as a bonus.
On top of other powers?
On top of other powers, that's correct. So you start with your power tags and add story tags and statuses. He doesn't have any statuses that will affect him greatly.
So we're gonna use the strength to carry a bull. We're gonna use a seldom used power, the Katana Whirlwind attack.
There you go.
And what else we got? We'll use we'll use super speed too. This is quick as possible. Plus the story tag. And that's it with all you've got. Oh God, he's dead. I've murdered a man.
How do you want to do this? No.
Well done.
You come swinging out, and yeah, it literally. What's
run.
the guy that does the watermelons with the hammer? Because that's what
Gallagher.
happens. Gallagher. You Gallagher this poor fellow's head all over the brick. The
So-
neck and shoulders kind of drop.
Yeah.
And,
He's dead, and then I'm just gonna kind of scream, "Who's next?"
sounds good. Mike, you were in the process of trying to clone yourself. Your one clone has just been ran across the alley and probably killed. Definitely severely injured. How many clones were
Yeah.
you looking to make? Or
It
perhaps
was
well, go
one
ahead.
to one, but I kind of got interrupted, so
I feel so bad for that poor man.
I'd be fine with just taking the one clone and just standing there, still, outstretched, looking big, with my hand on the back of my head.
Okay, so you're still looking to create another clone. I'm gonna say let's go ahead and change the game. That's gonna be creating the other clone, because as you kind of pull your attention back around, you see that both the individuals that are still in the warehouse are going into their side holsters to pull out guns. So you have a moment to kind of create a clone to deal with that situation.
Well, no. The one clone for Shin Lem is all I really needed there.
Okay, yeah, no, he's. So
I
then
just wanted to
you-
remain in my exact spot.
You see both of them begin to pull guns from their holsters, looking directly at you.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I want. So because I already have my hand behind my head, I want to touch my glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're drawing their guns, I'm moving forward and pulling a katana.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All of the destruction.
So explain how this looks to them. Like you kind of brush your hair past your glasses and then go on your back
Yeah,
and
I
pull a
was just-
katana.
I was just sitting there stretching. They're pulling their guns, and as my hand comes off of my head, they just see this bright green katana in my hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I leap up into the air above them, like into the warehouse, and come down upon them.
Okay, let's start by you actually, before you leaping, let's have you change the game to create your katana, and then possibly even, I would say this could give you a threatening status as well, depending on how much power you use, but definitely creating the story tag of katana, and then if you want to create an additional status of fear-inducing or something like that.
And this is
So-
why the eggheads bring us along.
So just for the katana, could I use Underworld Reputation? Because kind of as I'm outstretched, my badge would kind of be just right there.
I'm not sure if it would work against them, but I could see you using your knowledge to like create an accurate katana. So yeah, I could go with that. Like you would know what a katana is, how to wield it, how to create one.
And then bullet time to, be able to do it just
Quickly. Yep,
seamlessly, basically.
sounds good.
Change the game.
Change the game, yeah. Okay. So with a power 3, you can go ahead and take, katana, story tag, add that on, and then if you want to create a status. You have the option of either creating an additional status to threaten, or you can keep that juice to do other things with your katana, which I'll leave up to you to describe what that would be.
That sounds pretty good.
Okay. So you leap into the air with your katana. I'm gonna have you go toe to toe. Is like time slows as you leap into the air. They both pull their guns out. It's a matter if they're gonna get the shot off before you come down on top of them.
Either way is good.
Blink.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Split one guy straight in half.
Yeah, I would definitely, with that tier 3, that's definitely going to cut one in half. As you come down on top of him, the other guy kind of gets pushed off by the torso of his friend getting like thrown up against him and gets pushed out of the door. With that, he begins to like slide the door across, and like you see the light begin to fade as the door begins to close. Calvin, you hear a gunshot kind of go off back behind you. You turn, and Shin Lem has now focused his attention towards you. He kind of gives you this look, almost like he's trying to get an idea of what exactly you are. He wiggles the hands off of him and kind of stands forward, and he stands there. Who are you? What brings you to my alley?
Just an old man carting around with a bunch of fools.
I see. Oh, old man. How would you like to go for a ride?
Well, I'm not really here by choice to begin with, so what choice do I have?
He begins to kind of look around. He sees Timothy beginning to stand up over the body of the man he knocked out. He sees William beginning to walk out with a bloody sledgehammer over his shoulder. He looks over to the warehouse and sees his other bodyguard caked with this like line of blood and like this splat mark from where his buddy had just hit him. He smiles again and begins to whistle under his tongue. A strange bit of, it's not really mist, it seems more like smoke begins to fill the area. And Calvin, you start to see all of the light, the natural light, the lanterns, the streets, they all start to darken. What would you like to do?
Okay. So slowing him down is not a big thing. Obviously, that's not something to deal with. Now, this -5 that I got in the last check, what was that applied? That was like that his like momentum, like his ability to move quickly, specifically, or more like an aura that I had a hard time punching.
So he's obviously a rift, and part of his abilities is that he is insanely fast. So he has a positive status of catch 5, meaning it would take you breaking down that status, removing that status to slow him down. So there are moves to do that. You could use like change the game to find a way to slow him down, reducing that status down to 0.
Okay, so it was specifically about the speed then.
Yes, so part of his rift is that he is very fast.
Okay, well, time for a bit of Boots of Blinding Speed situation. Instead, the spirits that I've called forth as I clench my bloodied fist, I whisper further incantations to the dark spirits, the lowest spirits, to go forth and shroud his vision instead.
Okay.
Hard for him to run to places when he can't see where he's going.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I like it. I like it. So let's go ahead. You're gonna. What do I want this to be?
And then afterwards, I would run.
I'm pretty much in that boat too. I'm like, I took out the big. Oh God, there are people dying over here.
Well, I just
God.
like you focused on me. I'm like, I was looking at me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a change the game, because you have the options with change the game. You could obviously burn a power tag or story tag, so we're not worried about that. Give or reduce a status, so that's gonna help you. But also on the 10 plus, like, you have the option to scale up the effect, so it might be possible that you don't just blind him. You could possibly have them blind others that are in here as well. So go ahead and, yeah, what power tags do you want to use for the change the game?
Okay. Well, the lowest spirits, of course, obviously. We're going to go with tricks of the mind this time, because it's this is affecting their actual, like, their perception and vision. And which one do I want to go with? I'm gonna say control the dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any weaknesses you feel?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This improvement that I took, it says once per scene. Does that just mean once per area or whatever that we do? Or
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna choose burnout, because I'm gonna say by communing this closely with the spirits that maybe I'm pushing things up a little bit too far.
Yeah. Okay.
And like giving the spirits a little bit more control than I normally should be giving them, which could end in a big fiery badness.
oh God, no! Please don't. Not again.
I'm in a
And then this
warehouse.
will
What
change
does
the
it?
game you said?
It doesn't matter.
Correct. Yep. Change the game. All right. So with a power of 2, yeah, it sounds like you're trying to give or reduce a status. I would say this is probably an additional status of like blind 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
So as you call on these spirits, how would they blind him? What would that actually look like?
The spirits, it wouldn't be so much a physical blinding so much as be enshrouding him with random visions of things to make it sort of hard for him to concentrate on what he's like physically seeing.
Okay. So as his eyes begin to darken, he chuckles once more, and with a final whistle, the entire area falls into pitch darkness. I need everyone but Mike to face danger or find themselves in the dark as well.
He doesn't even need to see. Can we add anything to that?
However you plan to find a way to battle this encumbrant darkness that he is summoning, you can figure that out real quick.
Can I use Quiet Night? And who needs sleep anyways? Just because I'm used
To
to the
focus
dark
your
in
mind?
the night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd give you that.
I'm gonna do control the dice because it's for the focus.
Have fun, guys. Should have been
Brace.
in the warehouse.
Face danger?
Correct. Face danger. You right now he's summoning darkness. All natural light is being extinguished, so you would be facing a tier 3. Okay.
Fun.
Hold on.
Come on.
I've got something for this. Hold on.
You do. You do.
I do.
Can I burn my control the dice?
You can definitely burn your control the dice to get to avoid this completely. Explain how you're doing that. Is it a matter of explain how you would be controlling the dice to control your eyesight.
Well, at this point, it's about controlling the fate, my innate abilities for controlling like destiny and fate, and at this point, it's about giving myself the unearthly vision. I don't need to see visually when I can see into the spirit world, and everything's connected to the spirit world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about controlling what I can see.
Perfect. Yeah. So as as you kind of like take a moment to refocus your vision, you close your eyes, and when you open them, you begin to see shades of gray, black and white kind of template, almost as if you were seeing the spirits and souls of those that are around you instead of their actual forms. With a moment of readjusting your mind to recognize what it is you're seeing, you're able to recognize where everyone is, where they're standing, and as if you're wearing night vision goggles, you can see just fine. Timothy, what are you doing to combat the approaching darkness?
How does burning a tag work?
So if you burn a tag, it's a guaranteed success. You are able to recover tags during like a montage or a long break, but it just means you are not able to use that tag until it's recovered. So burning tags can be both a positive thing for you guys to get a success, also a negative thing because I can burn your tags if maybe, say he had burnt out. I may have burned out the tag of lowest spirits because he may not have access to them for a while. Something like that.
So after Hawk's done, I want to do my thing.
Yep.
I don't have anything to counter the darkness.
I disagree. You do.
I do.
It's a
I don't want to burn my carriage.
We don't have to burn it.
You don't have to burn it. You can just use it as part of your role of how you're going to avoid this. So
Okay.
the
Okay.
situation is right now in this area, he's able to control natural light to just make it disappear. He's wanting to cause darkness in this area.
Well, I'm calling my carriage then.
Okay. Sounds good. Bring some other supernatural light into it.
You wanna play with this? And this is face danger.
Correct. Yep.
So I'm using everything on the carriage because I'm calling the whole thing.
Yep. Okay.
Wow.
Dang it! Now I have a choice. Thanks, Hawk.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful.
So,
So perfect.
William, you do have a choice. Go ahead and read that improvement you have so everybody knows what exactly you're...
Got a recent improvement. It says once per session, when you or someone rolls a 6 or less and the MC makes a move, you can make a single additional move before the MC's move takes place. It precedes his move and can affect or even nullify statuses or tiers, or just change the circumstances.
So
basically, I could use this, and if I make the roll, I could just completely would it just stop him from doing whatever he's doing?
This is the
or
way
would
I
it be...
see that, is you have a moment where you try to pull, like, I am used to the night, and so, like, you close your eyes and you expect to open them to just see as you normally would at night, but that didn't work. So you have a secondary moment to figure something else out to avoid this darkness.
Well, let's see, what have we got?
I didn't whistle loud enough.
Fun out there.
I must have ate crackers. Couldn't whistle loud enough.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to use the carriage, would I? Because that's not mine.
I'm not sure what the carriage is doing right now. This is all about William.
Okay, so let's Mike seems to be fine. Let's start for the building. Let's go into the building.
The door is closed.
Oh, it's closed?
Mm-hmm.
The way is shut.
Can I go back into
You
the
could
shed?
try to quickly get back to the shed, but it's unclear if there might actually be light in there or not. So you could get out of sight of him, whoever this gentleman might be, kind of hide yourself away.
So I'm still like in between not being able to see and it not being completely dark type thing.
It's basically right now he is trying to black out the area. So you're trying to figure out a way of either making it so that you can see through whatever
Well,
this
let's-
supernatural darkness is.
Let's do this the simple way. Let's just stop him.
Okay.
Let's just hit him
You
with
could
this
use-
sledgehammer.
You could use that. So you are looking to go toe to toe to see if you're able to the darkness has already fallen. So the way I kind of see this is Calvin has a moment where he takes a deep breath, his eyes close, and when they open they're like kind of gray. William goes over and like closes his eyes and blinks, and you see like him begin to hunch over like he's about to charge after someone. Timothy is over in the corner and he whistles very loudly, but he doesn't quite hear anything right away. And then he thinks he does, and then he doesn't. And as that moment is pending, this is where you have your chance to get in there and do something about it. So, I'm going to have you go toe to toe as you bring your sledgehammer to see if you're able to destroy the finalization of this darkness.
Alright, so we're gonna use super speed,
Mm-hmm.
the katana whirlwind, and the strength, and the sledgehammer. Same thing I used to ruin the other guy. But we're gonna use aggressive behavior as well. Because apparently all I can do is smash people instead of actually think things through. So here we go. Hey, fuck you
Hey.
guys.
Okay, so what two are you...
William smash!
So you definitely hit him.
Oh yeah.
He's not down though. So what are the two you're selecting?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna get him good, and I'm gonna counter it from getting any darker. So I'm gonna counter his best attempts.
Okay. So here's what happens. You go in, you charge, you hit him right across the head. You see him like get knocked off his feet. And just like that, there is a bright flash of light as the carriage appears between you and him. As it flies by, it stops right by Timothy. And as you kind of adjust your eyes a bit, you look around. He's not standing where you thought he would be.
Can I give him a? I have to give him a status, don't I?
You did, yeah. So it's a tier 3 status of, I assume, like bludgeoned. Something like that.
Yeah, just like bludgeoned or disoriented or something. Whatever fits best with being smashed in the face with a sledgehammer.
Calvin, you see the same thing. Like you, out of nowhere, this carriage appears, and you, just as it does, you see Shin Lem get hit and go behind the carriage. The carriage rolls over by Timothy, who's like trying to get his eyesight, like leans over, grabs onto a horse a bit. You look around, you don't see Shin Lem.
Oh,
I evaporated him, guys. You're welcome.
Okay.
You do
There's like,
see, however,
yeah.
there's a thug up against the door, kind of blind man patting the wall. He has a gun in his hand, like he's trying to listen for anything, but he doesn't seem to know exactly where he is or where anyone else is.
Can I walk up to him, just put my hand on the gun, and just be like, "You're the last one left." Just shh, and just like lower the gun.
That sounds like a convince move to me.
Okay.
Who knew I needed a sledgehammer to nail all of my rolls?
Charming.
You do notice that as you're approaching him, the darkness begins to fade away. And while your vision stays the same, you start to see the color kind of return. No longer in straight kind of black and white. Now there's very light kind of dark reds appearing. And
Hey,
so yeah, you can either choose a relevant status. So that would be the stick. Carrot would be giving up. Take this out and change our agenda. Yeah, I think as his vision begins to return, he kind of looks over, sees you, sees William, sees Timothy, sees this strange carriage, hears the door open, sees William or Mike there with his katana, and just, yeah, it's not worth it. Drops the gun, drops
There's the
down
gun.
to his knees, puts his
There's
head
a gun.
down. William, you see this other guy, the one that had been pointing a gun at you, kneeling right out front the door with his head bent down, his neck wide open. The scene itself, there's the Timothy's carriage. You don't see much else in the alleyway.
that's okay. I'm gonna feed on the guy. I have no choice. I've been covered in blood. I can't not. I need something. No witnesses.
Except us.
Well, no witnesses. You saw what I did. You best forget it.
What do you want to do,
So
Mike?
am I witnessing him just suddenly bite into a man's neck?
I'm not sure. I was waiting to see what Mike wanted to do as he opened as the door was open and he kind of saw the scene and saw the last guy kneeling there.
Oh, that was a miscommunication.
You there? Did Mike fall asleep?
No, I'm
He
not
said
asleep.
something. What are you doing now, Mike?
Well, because he said a different name originally, so I wasn't fully paying attention.
Well, here's the scene. You guys can all tell me what you're doing. There's one bodyguard left. Shin Lem seems to have fled the area. Timothy seems to be a bit disoriented, but okay. So what do you all want to do?
Well, I don't know who that was, but yes. If we're going further in, we should do so now instead of later, before he comes back with friends.
Sounds good to me.
I'm gonna stalk my way over here. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that'd be like right beside.
What are you up to, William?
Oh, I'm gonna grab him by like the back of his shirt
Mm-hmm.
and kind of in the back of his head, and just. I'm trying real hard not to want to eat his face, but I don't think I'm succeeding.
Okay. Describe how that's.
Well, I've got him, and I'm like contemplating for a split second whether or not to just kind of bite down and drain him. And I think I think I'm just gonna do it. So
Okay. Do you
'Cause
feel like
if-
that's making another hard choice of no longer trying to attempt to control?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, It's a. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, I might need the extra oomph if that guy was any kind of judge of what's inside the place. So.
Okay.
But I also don't want to like eat him. But I guess the oomph won out. So.
Timothy, you've seen this behavior with William before. You can tell that he's about to feed on this bodyguard. Do you do anything to interfere?
Yeah, yeah, I think I actually do, because unfortunately I'm soft-hearted and you know
Dog.
indiscriminate.
Mm-hmm.
So
How would you try to stop him?
Calvin's probably freaking out at this point. He has no idea what's
I'm
happening.
perplexed and I'm surprised because this is not normal, but I did just do a blood ritual to summon spirits of the dead, so
Well-
strange necromancy things aren't really out of my wheelhouse.
I don't know if you've actually seen. I know you haven't seen this, but I don't know if you've heard what happens. I grow long fangs and long ears and blood red eyes.
I am going to I'm gonna try to convince him with we're supposed to hunt the monsters, not be the monsters. And this one is obviously not like us. He's one of the ones we're supposed to protect.
Does this get into the weird realm of player versus player roles?
I'll ask you that. Do you feel like your thirst is strong enough that he would actually have to use his abilities to convince you?
I mean,
do
I
you
don't
want
think
to
so,
possibly, because there's a few ways we could do this. We could have you face danger in which he is helping you, the danger being you getting control over your thirst, so that would be one roll we could do. I could have him roll convince against you, in which then I would have you roll something else to see if he's able to put a status over you to kind of stop you, restrain you from doing it. Or we could go toe to toe, where you bolt. Where I would say.
No, I don't want to fight any more people.
Well, no,
I
it's
don't want to
not.
fight any more friends.
You don't necessarily have to fight. It's whether, again, is the beast gonna win out, or is your crew, your company, going to win out? So what do you guys think? What? Or it could just be simply he tells you that and you decide not to. I would say probably at this point the thirst is pretty strong. Like, you've gone down this path quite a few times.
Yeah, I'm like covered in blood and haven't fed in a while.
I've never seen you feed like at all, so it's been a while, definitely. I mean, Calvin's like, he's a bit taken aback by it, but he's not opposing it. It's almost like a scientific curiosity in a way, because it does sort of fall into the realm of blood and death, that he is part of what he is.
So here's how I'm going to dictate it. Because you already have one fade, you're already losing kind of even the care to want to restrain. So I'm going to say you're going to face danger, but you're going to take a help from Timothy to face that danger. The danger being
Alright.
literally the beast inside.
Can you repeat that? Somebody came
Yeah.
in.
So because you already have a fade in that theme, I'm going to say we're going to have you face danger. Again, the reason being because you're already losing that part of even caring that you want to control your thirst. So we'll have you roll face danger, but take an additional +1 bonus with Timothy's aid.
Okay, because I really don't want to absolutely lose control. And if the doctor can help me get it under control, that would be great. So we'll do just a straight face danger +1 type thing, yeah?
Unless you feel like there's any part of your, I mean, honestly, any power tags you feel like you would be using to control yourself, control the raging beast inside.
We can use the order,
Okay.
because they didn't hire me just to be a mindless beast. They hired me to be
Mm-hmm.
something a bit more precise.
I agree. And so with crew tags, they are what they call crisp tags, so they have a one-time use during the session. But yeah, definitely.
And then I can use history teacher because I want to be more than just the
Focus on your
monster.
humanity. Yeah.
And can I use Indomitable from that same tag?
Yeah. You.
Because
I
just
imagine,
don't wanna...
like, you are trying to use the other side of what you have, right? With your rift, you have to gain control of the beast to then be better than the beast. So this is about you pulling the reins in.
Alright, and that's a face danger?
That's correct.
Hey!
You begin pulling him in. You get that scent, but you breathe deeper, and for a moment, maybe it's the leftover floral scent that still wafts off Calvin, or the perfume your wife was wearing today. But there's a smell that goes and makes the smell of blood fade away. Your things kind of, return. You stand up straight, kind of let go of him. He drops back down, definitely fearful, like almost shaking, not knowing exactly what was about to happen. Calvin, you see this man turn part beast to return back to man, all within a few moments, but there's definitely almost a transformation that occurs, but he seems to be able to withstand it.
I need help. It's getting harder to control.
As you're all standing around, you start to hear a commotion kind of up the alley. After a few moments, you see a rat, and it's a pretty sizable rat, begin to run by. It's got a large piece of bread in its mouth. It kind of goes and darts by. After it, probably just a few seconds later, there's a small figure with a long tail. Appears to be some kind of chimpanzee or Mapuchin kind of monkey. It seems to have a vest and a small hat that's chasing after the rat. And then there's a large clattering as 12 men in overalls and outfits go running past, chasing these two things. Two of them kind of look down the alley, seem to not know exactly what's going on, and continue to run by. As that
smile and wave.
As that continues on down, you notice that the sun is falling a bit darker. The area has gotten a bit more tense. The darkness seems to have faded, but not entirely left. And those of you that have been here visiting La Nostra, the safe house, will recognize that some of that darkness that you just faced now was also here when you were all leaving after dropping off Proximo. So it seems to be possibly related to him, or maybe it's just a factor of the area. But you look over across the alley and you see this shack. There's a small metal door that's just closed onto this metallic building that's shoved into the side of this larger industrial building.
We should get inside.
Before we do that, the guy that's kneeling in front of me, first I'm going to go up and just like pluck a strand of hair from his head, put it in my pocket. Then I want to bend down and I want to say, Aura is the thing. We don't really want to deal with you right now. We've dealt with enough things. Why don't we let you go on one condition, and we'll shake on it. I'll let you go if you owe me a favor. in the future of my choosing at my time.
He kind of looks
Deal?
up at you. Whatever gets me out of here. The boss doesn't pay me enough for this shit.
Of course, of course. Then it's a deal. And I put out my hand.
He reaches up, his hand still shaking a little bit to grasp yours.
And as I grasp his hand, he'll feel like bit of like almost like a sapping of like a cold shudder through it as the contract binds.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm gonna say, yeah, this is definitely a hit with all you've got to create the status you wish.
Hit with all I got. So I'm gonna do tricks of the mind. Oh, helps if I reset first.
I use all the power tags. It's okay.
I'll just use like 7 of them. Tempting contracts, of course. And and we will use charming. Sai is charming. And sorry, I was doing what was I doing again?
Hit with all you've got to apply
Hit
a
with
status.
all I got.
See how powerful your contract will be. That's pretty darn. So you get to choose 2 of those. So you can make this a tier 4 binding contract, which means he's literally in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, so this would be what, like a story tag then?
So no, this is an actual status. So this would be a status you have over him. So if he tries to do anything against that contract, it would be a negative towards him. Whereas if you try to do anything to maybe influence him or force him to do something he may not be willing, this would be a positive status for you.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so so like a level 4 binding contract or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, he's not trying to hit you back. You could. Are you trying to hide this from the group?
No.
Okay.
I want them aware of what I do as much as anything.
Yeah. In that case, I'll say go ahead and mark down you gain an upper hand. So you have 1 juice over control of Jennings, the warehouse guard. So that juice is literally something you have related to this contract that you can then influence. Perhaps it's going to be a story tag that he provides to you, a status, a bonus. It could be a variety of things.
Okay.
So he takes your hand, he shakes it, kind of shudders a bit, and just sits back down. Look, I don't know what you guys are doing here. Unless you're the boss, don't go in there. Those that don't go in, don't come back out.
Right. Well, I think that you don't want to see what happens next, and it's probably best if you just mosey on for a bit, huh?
Yeah, you're right. He kind of gets up and begins walking down. He takes his hat and just throws it, kind of takes off his jacket, drops it down, tries to look a bit more like a regular worker.
Oh, and before you go, what's your name?
It's Jennings, sir.
Jennings. Good to meet you.
Kind of looks back for a moment, and there's a brief wait, are you the same? I don't care. And begins walking down the alley.
And I will mark in my notebook, Jennings, 1 favor.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna peek over your shoulder into the notebook, but not really see anything.
It just looks like a ledger of numbers and little check marks and notes, and maybe a few names.
All right.
So yeah, the alley appears to be clear. William, you still have your little sledgehammer.
I'm gonna sling it up on my shoulder.
Mike, you still have your katana, and the doorway is there.
I'm going to send my carriage away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm gonna wave to the carriage.
It kind of rotates around, heads back and away. What would you like to do? Side entrance is sitting there.
I'm gonna go in.
I'm not going in first, so these
Okay.
guys can go, and then I'll follow.
You open up the metal grate door, and you see there's a few stairs that lead down into, looks like a side room. It's kind of like a cellar type area.
I
The,
assume
the,
Mike's
the
just
bottom
standing
is,
there?
is quite a bit of dirt and dust. And as you begin to make your way kind of down, a bit of the natural light makes its way in here, and you can see a variety of what appear to be drag marks.
Well, that's never good.
And they seem to lead directly into a metal wall.
Well, you did say that the maze was made up of horrible, horrible metal walls, didn't you?
Right. Labyrinthine in nature.
Mhm. That's why I brought a hammer.
Yes.
Yes. we're
Don't
going to
make too
find-
much noise, or the big scare us as well.
I'm the only big scary thing in here, unless you count Mike,
Right.
wherever he is.
Right behind you.
Oh God, when did you get there?
So, I guess we're going in. Once we find out how to open this wall.
So you look towards the dirt, and it does appear that it's just a piece of sheet metal that's kind of up pressed against the wall, but it does seem to be like pressed pretty hard and secure. As you get fairly close to it, Timothy, you begin to smell a familiar scent that you had not really smelt but more felt. The scent of opium is quite strong behind this wall.
Well, I'm definitely on the right track.
Do I smell this as well?
As you get close, you definitely smell kind of a sweet scent. But having never smelled the opium before, you wouldn't necessarily know.
I don't just inhale deeply and get high on opium. That's good to know.
Well, this is not my place. I can't reason with a wall.
I'm gonna shove through it.
I'm gonna try to
Just
push.
like shove, just push it out of the way type thing.
Okay. So the camera pulls in to the four of you down in this cellar, kind of goes past the heads of you all looking at this metal wall. William, you approach the edge of it, grab it, pull it open. As you do, you all see into this dark tunnel. You see flickering lights, and a wave of smoke begins to enter the room. And that is where we're going to call it for the night.